We want to welcome in a very special guest, a good friend of ours and a loyal follower of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast, our buddy Shaun Hickombottom, who's got an exciting new opportunity. He is now part of the On Time agency started by Ramon Sessions, and he's going to be doing some very exciting stuff there. We'll talk about that in a minute, Shaun, but first I want to ask you about your time with the Bulls. You come into that organization, they had guys a long time in place in the media relations department where you started out. What was that like for you initially, trying to get the lay of the land? Did you have to get coffee for Stacey and stuff, or what were your responsibilities?
No, I used to have to get popcorn, hot dogs, pop for Stacey and Neil during halftime.
Is that right?
Yep.
You know, you weren't supposed to tell everybody. Okay, you know, just because you're big time now, you don't have to do that.
No, Stacey was great, man. Stacey was great. Tim Hallam, who hired me back in 2008 in the PR department, gave me the opportunity. I loved working for the Bulls. I loved working. I worked in the PR department, of course, for 7 years. Worked with Matt Yob, who was phenomenal. And then I transferred over to the basketball ops department in 2015, and no, I mean it was great. I mean, we used to go on road trips, and Stacey would always take me to dinner, take me to Capitol
Strip
Grill,
club.
He'd take me
Mark,
to
this man is married, Mark. This man is married, Mark.
No. Stacey would. I mean, to be honest with you, early on in my career with the Bulls, I mean, Stacey was like my big brother. Like when we used to go to Oklahoma City, I would always go hang out with, it was him and then his whole crew from childhood, from college, like L.A. We go to Roscoe's with some of his best friends. Like, I mean, Stacey was, again, like, he was my big brother. So
I tell you what, your check's in the mail. America, I'm gonna tell you, this guy, he's being modest. This guy, when he first came in, he was, a young kid, bright eyes, just energetic, and he's leaving an old man. No, I'm just playing. But he came in. We gravitated very quickly. And I remember being on the road trips, and we'd be out, and I'd be watching them. And we stay in these 5-star hotels, and very expensive. Room service, everything's very expensive. And, Shaun was, counting pennies. He was counting pennies.
He didn't get the per diem, huh?
No, Shaun would be like, okay, if I spend $20 here.
I was trying to go to McDonald's.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, man, come on. What are you doing? Let's go eat. So I made it a point to take him out every single time that we were on the road, so he didn't have to spend his little money. Yeah. Because I know how hard it was for him, because he was on the bottom of the totem pole at the time. So, and he's worked himself up. This is one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around. I mean, I've seen him go from, being the last guy on the totem pole. Okay, we got some people in the background just dropping pins and things around. Okay,
throat punch.
Throat punch coming. Throat punch coming, America. It's coming. It's coming. I don't know who's responsible. I'm not throwing anybody on the bus, but it might have been Nick. Slick Nick, did you do it, Nick? Okay. All right. Oh, Nick just dropped down.
Oh, my goodness.
He just snitched on
Snitches get stitches, baby.
But, to see him ascend to the level that he is at, it's been amazing. Seeing him go from the PR department to see him, working with the players, the liaison with the players, their family. I go back a few years ago where we were in New York City. And Shaun, did this thing and set up this thing for the players and their moms to come. It was the mom's trip. Yeah. No one has ever done that in an organization. Yeah. And I thought that was the coolest thing, one of the greatest ideas. Mothers get to come to New York City, get the chance to experience New York City, spend time with their sons. And it was done up so well. And, Shaun was the big reason why that happened.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you.
Hey, when I first met Shaun, he was so welcoming and says, "What can I do to help make your job easier?" And I'm like, wow, that's a different attitude. I didn't usually get this around here, because dating back to the Jordan years, it was almost like the media relations department's job was to wall the media away, keep them away from Michael and Scotty and Dennis at the time, who was wacky as can be. But that was before your time. But what was the balancing act like for you? Because you're trying to help the media. Nobody likes the media. So, your basic job is to protect the players, just get them to be presented in the best possible light. How did you handle that balancing act?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to building relationships. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that, and whether it be with the players or with the media. players are people just like media, and
Right.
I mean, me treating the media just like normal people and building relationships and friendships, like it's that's kind of like how I balance that.
We couldn't wait to get the hell out of there and get to basketball ops.
No. I love the media. Like as soon as I switched over, like the biggest thing that I missed was just being around the media and the relationships. And I don't think I was around you because of travel, but like I wasn't around you and Neil, Bill and Chuck like I was before, and the Casey Johnsons of the world. And Joe Kelley and Vinny and like I have great.
Mention that guy's name on my show.
Who's that? Vinny?
Joe Colley.
Oh, sorry.
That's a throw punch.
That's a real throw punch right there.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Do we have a beeper? Like,
We can edit that out. We
can
fixed
edit
that in
out?
editing.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Sorry.
Okay. That's his relationship, not ours.
I should have said Nick, huh?
Yeah, we love Nick.
Yeah, we love
Nick
Nick.
still owes Stacey a steak dinner.
dinner.
But
Yeah. He's a friend of the program.
Yeah.
Nick still owes me.
He
owes me
still-
food.
he'll pay.
Yeah.
He'll pay.
Yeah, he's gonna pay all right. Don't worry about that.
He
Don't-
owes you that because the Bulls finished
Better than
higher
the
than
Knicks.
Knicks.
Yes,
Right?
higher than the Knicks. Yes.
He's
And
still
the Knicks didn't
slurping
even
on
make
Tom
the playoffs.
Thibodeau,
Yeah. So I'm gonna get that back. Don't worry about it. He's gonna get that. So tell our listeners a little bit, Shaun, like somebody who wants to get into, into media relations, basketball ops. Tell them how you got into this, and what did you study in school? Because we have a lot of young kids that want to listen to the show that say, hey, you know what, I want to do that. I want to be in the PR department. What steps did you take to get to that? What did you have to go to school for? So give a little insight about that.
Yeah, so I graduated from Marquette in 2006, and I majored in advertising. So again, not sports, but I knew I wanted to get into sports. So a family friend of mine knew someone who worked for the Milwaukee Bucks in tickets. So she connected me with that person. Ended up getting an interview with the Milwaukee Bucks for a ticket internship. I got the internship. I didn't want to sell tickets.
No.
I don't like
Tough
selling.
job, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
And especially for the Bucks at that time.
At that time.
So I ended up not taking that position. But in my interview, I mentioned to the director of tickets, I said, I would love to do something in PR. So about a week later, I get a call from the director of PR for the Bucks. She called me and she's like, hey, do you want to come in she offered me to come in to interview for an internship in the PR department. I got that. I interned for the Milwaukee Bucks in their PR department for 2 years. And then a job opened up with the Bulls in their PR department in 2008. Did that, climbed the ladder. John Paxson, Gar Foreman were great. I mean, Randy Brown as well. They gave me an opportunity in the basketball ops department in 2015. I was in basketball ops. I was the director of player and team ops for 7 years. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's about relationships. It's about networking. It's about connecting and just going out there. And if the internship doesn't pay, that's okay. Like if you can do an internship in sports and just meet who you can, and because again, it's about who you know. It's really not about what you know. That would be my advice.
And he's from Illinois. It's not so anybody out here listening. He's not from Milwaukee or Wisconsin. He's from what high school did you go to?
I went to Montini. Catholic High School.
Montini.
There you go.
Cheating football.
The
team.
Broncos.
Cheating football team. They cheated.
Cheated win. Cheated win.
They didn't beat
A lot of state
Driscoll.
titles over
They
there.
didn't beat Driscoll though. When Driscoll was around.
Not back in the day.
no,
No,
back in the day, Driscoll
But
owned them
that's why we got better.
because Driscoll left because of the money.
Driscoll left, and the Driscoll kids came to Montini.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
That's
Shaun,
why you won.
You remember that?
I
Huh?
do
Shout
remember
out to
that.
Louis Borsellino, right?
Lou, yes.
Oh, what you know about them?
Yeah.
He's a buddy of mine.
Really?
Tim knows everybody.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like 6 degrees of whisper separation. We play that game on the show just about every week. Hey, now that you've left the Bulls, you got to share some stories. What are some of the funniest requests you've gotten from players over the years that they asked for your help with?
I can't tell you a lot because
I gotta kill you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to mention any names. Just give me some funny things that a player may have said. Hey, I need help with this.
this isn't funny, but this is just like wow. So we're on the road. I used to do tickets. So if each player gets 2 comp tickets, if we run out of our comps, they have to buy. So we were I want to say we were like in LA, which is a tough ticket. So a player came to me and was like, "Hey, I need X amount of tickets." I was like, "All right." So normally we put it on a credit card. So he goes, so I go, "Hey, can I, let me get your credit card?" He's like, "No, go look in my bag." I was like, "Huh?"
Snake in there?
He said, "Go look in my bag and just get what you need." And I go, "Okay." So the tickets were like $3,000.
Yeah.
I go to his bag. There's like $50,000 in cash in it.
No way.
Wow. So I'm like, okay, let me just take $3,000.
Who's carrying $50,000 in cash?
I can't say.
It was Stacey's bag again.
You know what? Hey, you'd be surprised, Mark.
Oh my
Seriously,
God.
it's
You'd
crazy.
be surprised. Like MJ used to do that too.
Really?
MJ was. I mean, listen. We were in LA and we had played the Lakers, and then MJ left $10,000. A wad rolled up with a rubber band, left $10,000 underneath his locker room stall. We go to Phoenix the next day. MJ asked, I think it was Mark Fowle, like, "Hey, you got that money? Did I give it to you?" And he's like, "No, you didn't give it to me." And he's like, "Well, I don't know where it's at. I lost $10,000." So he said, "I'll call the Lakers and find out if anybody, picked it up." So he calls the Lakers, the equipment manager, and they said, "Yeah, one of the ball boys picked it up. He's got it right here. He turned it in."
Oh man.
I was like, "That's a stupid mom." But hey, there's still some honest people out there.
That's a
America.
good thing.
I would have done it, but there's still some honest people out there. So he hits his $10,000, and they send it back to Phoenix. And so we're all sitting there like, okay, MJ gonna give him like a couple of grand for finding the shoes.
He should have gave him the whole $10,000.
That's what I said too. That's what we all said. Yeah. So he gave him a pair of autographed shoes, some autographed Jordans, and then
that'd be worth a little bit. Now.
Yeah.
Give us another story. The Bulls, of course, rebuilt after Gimme left.
Oh, Lord.
He had a bunch of young guys getting their feet wet in the NBA. Tell us some story about those young guys trying to get used to life in the NBA, and how'd you help that group?
Young guys. Let's see. Some of my favorite, Bobby Portis. I'm trying to think. I don't have good stories. Like, they were all about
Lowry, Chris Dunn, Zach.
No, I mean, it was more like the D-Rose, Boozer, Ronnie Brewer, C.J. Watson. Like, those guys were. I mean, I was close to all the guys, but like the good stories that I can tell you. I don't know. Like, here's one.
Oh, great.
This is just a nice story. So it was after maybe the 2013 season. Carlos Boozer had invited me down to Miami, where he stays in the summer. Yes, exactly. Hola. And he ended up, like, he bought my flight. He put me up at the Fontainebleau. Like, my boys came. We partied. Like, I know it's not a great story, but like, it's a testament to who Booze is. I can't think of any good stories. I'm sorry. Like,
well, maybe we'll come to you. And
like
Boozer's 2 kids now are top recruits.
I know.
Isn't that something?
I know.
Well, the way you're acting is like you're hatering. Haterism.
No.
What about the time Carlos spray painted his head in Boston or whatever that was?
That was terrible. Awful.
Awful.
Did anybody catch that before he went on the court and like what's up with that?
I think he was trying in the locker room before the game, trying to wash it out.
That was frightening.
That was a bad Beijing job.
That was a bad look.
That was on national TV too. You know that.
It
right?
was.
That was an afternoon game in Boston on ABC.
Oh my goodness!
That's. I mean, you might as well went to hair club for men.
Yeah, it was funny though, because that next year we had Nate Robinson, and Nate took a Sharpie on Booze's bobblehead and just painted the head.
Yeah, Nate was funny.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, because you were there during the D-Rose prime years, and how much fun that was for you. Working there and being part of all that. It was fun for me.
That was so much fun. Those are some of my favorite years. Like that 2010, 2011 team that won 62 games. I mean, so in PR back then we split the travel, but I was the low man. So like I did 35 games. So like I was on the road all the time. And when we would pull into a city, it would be, I mean, I know it wasn't the Jordan years, but like there'd be people outside of the hotel, like it's crazy. Like we literally went into every game thinking we weren't gonna lose. Like it was so much fun. That was a really good group of guys. Like I still keep in touch with damn near all of them. Yeah, it was so much fun, and especially to experience that winning, you know. So
Think there's any chance Derek will finish his career here in Chicago?
I don't know. I hope so. I think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think there's a slim chance.
He's kind of in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
You know, they brought in Brunson. There's rumors they're going to trade for Mitchell, and he's kind of lost over there.
And I think
he could get traded back to Utah like he was there for a cup of coffee.
I mean, he's got one more year this year, and he's got a team option next year. So
yeah,
maybe they don't.
That'd be a great story.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal.
He can still play.
Yeah,
he can still play, and he can still do things at a high level. Maybe not on a consistent basis that we're so used to seeing, but as far as his overall game has evolved into being a true point guard now, like he's a true point guard. He gets everybody involved. He can score and still go 94 feet with the best of them. So I would like to see him retire as a Bull, you know, but who knows? Who knows? You know, I mean, I just had an argument the other day about, is he a Hall of Famer? It's like, why isn't he?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, he's the youngest MVP. And that was when, you know, LeBron James was at his highest point. You know what I'm saying? You know, I always say that superhero level. I know there's injuries. If he had not gotten hurt, you know, would have, could have, should have. But had he not gotten hurt, the discussion wouldn't even be there. He'd still be, you know, a top 5 player in the league right now with the things that he did.
I do think, regardless of if he comes back or not, I don't even work there anymore. The Bulls need to do something like they did for him, for Joakim, and maybe even at a higher
They retired at number 1.
They need to retire. But it's crazy because there's only, there's 4 numbers up there?
Yeah.
There's not many. Yeah, I think that's
they
it.
They should
4,
do some type of Ring of Honor or retire more jerseys or something. But, yes, he should be up there for sure.
Hey, let's talk about your new gig.
Yeah.
You've moved on to On Time Agency. Ramon Sessions, the founder of that. You're the vice president of operations, I think is your title. What is that going to involve for you?
Honestly, so we're a startup company, and I'm literally like a jack of all trades. So I'll be doing some recruiting. I'll be doing some, you know, marketing. I'll be doing just a little bit of everything just to help build the company. I think that's something like me and Sesh had a really good relationship. You know, coming up, he was in Milwaukee. I was it was my second year in Milwaukee, and we just built our relationship throughout the last couple of years. And I think the biggest thing for us is white glove service and building relationships with not only our clients, but also their families. Like I think that's a really important thing, and that's something that we plan to do and grow our business.
What about washed up hoopers? Because Tim's looking for an agent.
Whispers?
Yeah.
Come on over, buddy.
I'm your guy.
We got you.
Celebrity impersonators. How about an agent for Christopher Walken?
That's great. I could do some voicemail message machines.
Hey, that's big now.
That was huge.
Could be a new career for you.
Yeah. That's he ain't lying about that. You can make some money off doing that. So Shaun, you know, we talked when you were, you know, thinking about making this move, and you know, you've had opportunities in the past to make some moves and leave the Bulls, leave the job of security and everything. And we talked this summer, you know, about the possibility of you leaving and doing this with On Time. How difficult was that for you? You know, knowing that you grew up kind of in the Bulls organization, and then you've established yourself, and then now here's an opportunity. You don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty about it.
It's a big risk.
It's a big risk,
huge.
But the possibility of being part of something special is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I can see why you did that.
No, yeah, I mean, trust me, Stacey. I mean, I called you quite a bit. Like, it was a very hard decision. Again, been with the Bulls for 14 years. Security, like you said, I was climbing the ladder there. I was one of the longest tenured people there. Loved the job, loved the players, loved my bosses, but like I just think it was like I'm 38 years old, and it was just something. It was just time. It was time to try something new. It was time to be uncomfortable so I can grow. And again, I'm not saying I was comfortable with the Bulls because I'd been there 14 years, and it was like you said, it was secure. But again, it's just something that that excited me, and Sessions is. Like, he's one of the most stand-up dudes in the world. Like, he's phenomenal. Like, not only is did he have a 11-year career? But he's he's done so much stuff off the court, and he's just a very impressive guy. And I feel like the relationships that he has, the ones that I have, like, and we just come together and we can just grow, and the sky's the limit for us.
Last thing for me, you were brought into the organization when John and Gar were in place, and that was the guys that you kind of learned basketball ops from. But then the changeover in the organization, A.K comes in with Mark Eversley. Maybe you could give the fans your take on what the organization, the future of the organization looks like with those guys in charge.
Honestly, I think the sky's the limit for the Bulls. Like A.K and Mark, what they did in that 1 year just to flip our roster and to make us competitive and to get the city excited again, like it was great to be a part of, and it was something great to see. Loved working with John and Gar. Like they gave me an opportunity. I just think it was time for a change as well. But I think the Bulls are in really good hands with Mark and AK, and like they're phenomenal people. Like they took me out to, like, I resigned on I want to say it was like June 1st, and they took me to a nice dinner on like June 18th. We talked. I consider them like they're friends, and I'm going to continue to build my relationship with them, because in my new endeavor, like, I'm going to need that relationship.
Absolutely. And they're aggressive too. They're looking to make this team as good as possible.
Absolutely. So they want it now, and I know the city of Chicago wants it now, and I think if the city of Chicago just continues to be patient, like, it's going to happen. So.
The Shaun's in the agent business. I told him that we were talking on the way over here today. I told him that, he's got the inside on our little nephews. Okay?
There you go.
Yeah,
I want them.
Yeah. So he'll when the time comes, since I know him, and he'll be one of the people.
We just want a seat at the table. That's all.
That's right. You got there, brother. You got there, because you know what? You're like family, man. It's hard to get return phone calls from him now, because he's big time
agent.
Yeah. I mean, he went from driving a Hyundai to a Mercedes Wagoneer. That's how much he climbed up the ladder. He was driving around in one of those little smart cars in the beginning. And now he's driving around in like this, expensive cars. He got stars on the ceiling. That's all I'm gonna say, America. He got stars on the ceiling, so you know what kind of car he drives. Don't sleep.
This is still my big bro.
Yes, I am.
Forever.
I am.
Hey, Boo should hook you up with his 2 kids.
Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah. I have reached out to Booz, and me and Sessions actually had dinner with him in Orlando late June. So I don't know. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal.
Hey, you
Comes
talked
full
a lot
circle.
I know.
You talked a lot about relationships, and I've just got a question for you, because you're an expert in this.
I wouldn't say expert. But
If you've been in like a 30-year abusive relationship, what should you do about it?
Get out, Whispers.
Hey, I'm glad you told me that, because I'm getting ready to get out of this relationship with Whispers. Whispers, I'm glad you asked that question, because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do about his 30-year relationship that's abusive. Okay, he's a narcissist, and he gaslights me.
Oh, my goodness.
I just want to say
Basically how he flips the tables,
thank
isn't
you
it?
for answering. Hey, thank you, Whispers, for asking that question.
Who's getting abused?
I'm getting abused.
See how
I'm
this
getting
works?
abused.
Yeah.
I'm getting abused. Look at this. I get abused. Thank you.
Getting abused.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Whispers.
Before we end, I do have to give our boy a shout out.
Who's that?
Razor Red.
Oh, Grant's it.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to our barber, Terrence Razor Red, for always keeping us clean and crispy.
Crispy. Hey,
Thank you, Red.
And shout out to Red, because he started his own
Yes,
podcast.
yes, Red.
Is that right?
He got a podcast.
I was going to say we should have him on the show.
I think it's like, what's up?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal podcast?
What's the deal podcast?
Razor Red.
Razor Red. I'm telling you, Razor Red is doing a lot of stuff in the community. He just got a basketball court made up for the kids to give them some safety to play basketball. Got the lights. Somebody had stole the rims. Who in the hell want to steal some kids' rims? I don't know. This is
crazy.
And so he went and they got donated some more rims, and it's going to turn out to be nice. It's going to have some tournaments for the kids there. It's just a safe haven to get these kids off the streets and to have a place where there's safety. They can play without having to worry about getting shot at or, getting into gang violence, So he's doing a great job. And his little, is what's the deal?
What's the deal? Yep.
What's the
podcast,
deal?
yeah.
Yes, he's
I
doing.
think they just wrapped their first episode last week.
Yes, yes, he's just starting out on this podcast, and we had a conversation yesterday. As I told him, to get your podcast started, your first 4 or 5 shows, you're gonna struggle a little bit.
We remember those days.
Yeah, I don't remember, Mark. I'm on episode 95 or something right now. I don't even remember having a bad day, But I told him, stay with it, because I think they're having problems with the sound and,
Sure.
and the editing and stuff. Yeah. And I told him, I said, hey, just stay with it. Your first 4 or 5 shows, those are just shows for you to get your audience. And then I said, after that, once you figured all the other stuff, it'd be easy peasy.
We even got an in-studio guest now. Shaun is our first in-studio guest.
Guest.
I'm the first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we had Kendra Lusk coming in, but she was afraid to sit next to Tim.
Oh,
She's a pervert. She said,
I don't blame her.
She said that little creepy guy, the little red guy. No, I don't want to sit next to him.
Larry the Lobster. Yeah.
I'll do a Zoom.
I feel honored.
This is our first. You are our first official guest. This
I had
is
to
impressive.
come.
Yeah, so you can actually take the hot sauce on the way out as opposed to Tim packing it in his little closet in the back.
Packing it. He's the hot sauce packer.
So he's calling me a packer.
Yeah. He's a hell of a packer. He will pack that hot sauce to you, boy.
See who gets abused here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, it's been a blast catching up with our buddy Shaun. He's going to do great things over at the On Time Agency. So you're going to see a lot of young high school great prospects signing on with him and Ramon Sessions. So make sure that you follow them. They're going to do some great things ahead, and we're really happy that he came by our luxurious Palatine Studios.